Tuesday, February 21. The Earning Years. As we've seen, God intended for humans to work in one capacity or another. This part of our life, the working years, is usually about 40 years long. For many people, this is the time when children are being brought up and educated, and when the home and other major purchases are required. This can be a very intense time financially. It is a very sensitive time because the family is learning to work together and its members are creating lifelong bonds. Financial stress can wreck the marriage at this point and frequently does. Families in which both parties have a Christian commitment and are willing to follow biblical principles are much more stable. Read 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 8, Proverbs 14:23 and Colossians 3:23-24. What important points can we take away from these texts about finances in the home? 1 Timothy 5 verse 8, but if anyone does not provide for his own, and especially for those of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Proverbs 14:23, in all labour there is profit, but idle chatter leads only to poverty. And Colossians 3, beginning at verse 23, and whatever you do, do it heartily, as to the Lord, and not to men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the reward of the inheritance, for you serve the Lord Christ. In many cases, the husband is the main breadwinner, although often both spouses work. Of course, unexpected circumstances can arise, sickness, economic downturns, whatever, that make this ideal difficult. People need then to adjust accordingly. The children who are brought into the world during this segment of life are called a heritage from the Lord in Psalm 127 verse 3. We must remember that children bring with them an awesome responsibility. The goal of Christian parents is to train their children to become independent adults in this life and to fit them for the life to come. Here are 3 points to help parents. 1. Provide a Christian home environment. This would include regular and interesting family worship, regular Sabbath school and church attendance, and faithfulness in tithes and offerings. These are great habits to form in early life. 2. Teach children a willingness to work and an appreciation for it. Children will discover that diligence and integrity at work are always noticed, appreciated, and rewarded. They will learn that money comes to us as a result of our giving time to others by performing tasks that are valuable to them. And 3, help with a good education. Education is expensive today, particularly Christian private school education. But to parents with plans for their children, not only for this life, but also for that which is to come, it is well worth the cost. And so to finish today, of course, no matter what they do, no one has any guarantee about the direction their children will go. Why is it important for parents not to blame themselves for the wrong choices their older children might make? This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind. Sponsored by the Sabbath School Department and distributed through Hope Channel Australia, this podcast is also redistributed by Hope Channel Germany, Christian Record Services for the Blind. It is also available on SoundCloud and through multiple podcast distributors, including Apple iTunes. And you can listen and watch at the same time on YouTube. Remember, God is always faithful. And here is a disclaimer. Contents of these lessons are not intended to be financial advice, but is general commentary based on biblical principles. The reader is encouraged to seek competent professional advice which will suit their particular personal situation.